It's been a long time because we've been just upgrading. For starting, let's just go over the things that every subscriber's go over. Make sure you have subscribed, liked, comment in the past
and
videos,
share.
as well as the current video that you're gonna watch. It's gonna be very interesting. So yeah, just do the shebang. I'll just pause the video for a minute.
Let's just make it
topic.
juicy.
At least you tell us.
What makes a perfect marriage?
Well, yeah, what makes a perfect marriage? I know a lot of you said there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. I totally agree with that. Like, I 100% agree with it. But I'm gonna speak about that later in the video. So the first segment's gonna be how this question came about of a perfect marriage. So me and my sister was discussing about marriage, and like basically I got really like disgusting comments from men. I don't really call them men, I call them boys. Literally they look like grown ass men, like literally like beard, and I'm like,
They look like
I'm sure
my uncle.
Yeah, I'm sure if your wife saw that, she'd divorce you, Habibi. Like literally, like there's no its and buts. Personally,
They're not even Habibi, they're sassas.
Yeah, it comes out my mouth. But yeah, what I'm trying to say that these men fall into the DMs and they literally make a marriage that was thriving into something that is diving, literally.
Oh, I like the rhyme.
Yeah, but it's true. Don't you think? Like, if a man is really committed to you, he would put that 100% of himself to you. Do you get me?
100%.
Do you understand?
100%.
So that's where this topic, marriage, came about. Seeing these men fall into my DMs, as well as my sisters, but the comments that they make, literally, I don't know why I didn't show that man's picture. Like, I should have exposed him like full on.
Can I along the line say a funny one that we recently got?
Yeah.
Just a funny one, okay? My lover, I love you, and together we can be lover. And I was like, what?
Ew, that's so disgusting. I know.
I was like, bro, I'm studying right now. I'm a little kid. Leave me alone. I'm a kid.
For example, becoming 25 years old and thinking about marriage and diving into that route. I wouldn't really speak about marriage if I wasn't considering it. So I feel like I know what I want in a guy, as well as how I should protect myself from men like that. So marriage is a very sacred concept in our faith. Marriage is something that both of you have like a garment for each other, like you cover each other. In terms of, it's like a metaphor, like when he does wrong, you cover him, like his sins and stuff, and he does the same for her as well. And I feel like that's how a marriage thrives. But then again, just by like committing these sins, it's not just to do with committing sins, it's also to do with, for example, his family is literally swearing at her, saying mean words to her. And if he can't have your back as a man, as a husband, you don't call that a husband. A man always has, his back for the lady he marries, and that's what you call a man. That's what you call a garment as well. I just
wanted to say, like, obviously a family like seed has been planted. Obviously we have grandparents and it goes on, like it goes down. But also in some way, you can also say that, like, when you get into marriage, you need to know what responsibilities you're getting into, and you gotta, be accountable for that.
Because you are going to be accountable.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's really important that, like, in some way you are planting a seed because you're going to start your family, and then you can really say you're going to be the grandparents to your children's children, you know what I mean? So in some way you are planting a seed, even though a seed has been planted like before generations. You are also
initially planting another tree. It's like, for example, for girls who are planning to get married, you really need to sit with someone who of course is married, listen to the experience and stuff. That's what, you know, I've been doing, because at the end of the day, for example, yeah, I did study. You can learn so much from studying, and also, you know, we went through scenarios of like certain like stuff that can happen in a marriage. But then again, like, for example, people who are married, they come to people who, like, for example, have that knowledge about marriage. Like, a lot of people who do get married, they don't have that wider knowledge about, oh, what's it called, what rights do we have over each other, and like, how can we fulfill those rights, as well as how can we stay away from things that, you know, would actually initially break our marriage. Do you have anything to say? Like, it's very important that, you know, for example, if you want to get married, you really need to, has happened in the past. And a lot of people, you know, one thing, like, for example, men or sisters, you know, they say that they want to get married, but the only reason they say that they want to get married is because of family expectations.
Happy,
but really, behind the back, their expectation of a marriage or of a girl or of a man is something else. Yeah. It's something that can actually break your marriage, or basically make your future look miserable.
Yeah.
If you are a person who has Islamic principle, moral conduct, you would have a vision of your wife or your vision of your husband. And I feel like a lot of people who are going down the route of, I want to get married, they have just made that concept in their mind, but really they haven't figured out the statement that they're making. They really haven't, how am I going to plan to get married? Am I going to go counseling before marriage? Is there any past traumas that I need to fix? Because I don't want to take any past trauma into the marriage, because I know my wife or my kids are going to suffocate.
So I wanted to add on that, and you know how before I said to you that about like even though a seed has been planted before, you are replanting like another seed, like to start your family tree. Something really important, the reason why I mentioned about accountability, because you know how we were talking yesterday and we went deep and we were saying about how like a lot of men, they just look at your appearance and that's the A game for them. Like, first of all,
they sexualize the lady's body.
First of all, it's like, when you get married, is that all that's gonna, you know, add up, you know, as a couple? Is that all you're gonna look, you know, about her? Does your children have to look?
You're gonna
as
get
well,
of her,
you know,
basically.
Yeah, he's gonna get bored because it's just lust in the marriage, lust, basically. Yeah. And I feel like accountability is really important. Like in our religion, in the Quran, you know, somewhere along the lines, Allah basically asks like the mountains and the trees and everything else that, like, can they take on like, you know, leadership, like free will and stuff, and they couldn't, but humans did. We must have had that confidence and you know, the fact, that courage, and you know, it's really important, like, to also have that confidence and courage that when we're speaking about marriage, you need to remind yourself that it's a sacred thing, it's an important thing. This is nothing to joke about. This is nothing like, I fell for her and
your intention shouldn't be, I want to get married because I want to end up in a divorce. These Dawa brothers are literally saying things like that. Like, we shouldn't listen to these Dawa brothers.
They're just trying to stir,
you know what
and
it
make
is, they're using
bad.
Islam to have a platform. A lot of people do things like that. They use faith, they, you know, quote some hadith, they quote some Quran, but they really don't know. They haven't studied it in the depths. They haven't put that work on. And a person who has, they can speak. Do you understand? They have the right to speak. But if you haven't really done any studies of what is, you know, about hadith, please don't speak about hadith, because literally you can fall into something that you're gonna regret your whole life,
basically.
And like, it's so important. Like, for example, like, as a woman, what do you want in a man? How do you want to thrive with this person? What things that you saw in the men that, you know, were around you that you didn't like, but you want your husband to be something else? Like, it's really essential for a girl to write her list down, for example, before, you know, finding someone, asking questions about, you know, how are we gonna thrive together, bills, as well as, you know, holiday, like how we're going to take care of each other, how about, you know, for example, intimacy. If, for example, I see you liking a naked girl's picture and, you know, I don't tolerate that crap, no girl tolerate that crap, because that just shows that you just got married because you just want to be protected because of intimacy. You don't want to commit zina, but you are actually committing zina because what your eye thinks and what you look at, you are literally a man. You know, I spoke to men who are my mahram, and they have told me when a man looks at something, he imagines it, and it's disgusting. One look, and literally his man's brain, man's thinking is not like us. You know how we see a guy and we're like, okay, he's cute, but man, they done it with her by even thinking it. Just imagine your husband liking a girl's picture, liking a girl's picture who literally has her bikinis on, or who's half naked, showing her ass, showing her bits. But you know, I have respect for sisters, you know, who wanted to dress the way they want. I have sisters, I don't have no problem with them. I have problem with the man, because that man, his intention is just messed up. He doesn't even have no intention of getting married. Do you understand? Yeah. A man or a sister who is doing something like that, or a sister just constantly after one after another just being on the phone with guys. You don't have and you're saying that you have the intention of getting married. No, you don't. You are going to ruin a marriage.
Can I add to that? Yeah. Because, you know, something that really like annoys me, angers me, is what's the concept of like guys thinking they could play around, and then their parent, because their parents know the son is not responsible, so they look for like a loyal, faithful daughter-in-law. And when they do, and when she gets married, she's basically like living in hell because this guy's just experimenting with other girls on the side. That really angers me.
You know, there are stories like that.
I'm literally so angry right now.
There are stories like that where sisters fell into that trap of marriage, and what's it called, the in-laws portrayed such a good picture of their son as well as their family, but in reality they were literally a living hell. Literally, I'm not lying. There are cases like that. There have been lawyers who spoke about cases like that, like sisters who get in the get-go love bombed, and guys showing that, oh, I'll get you a house, you know, I'll give you protection, I will give XYZ, but really his intention and his motive is to get just a girl for the house, you know, her to make the house a home, but in fact he is messing around behind her back. He just wants to create a generation that when he passes away, her kids or both of the kids can, you know, keep the legacy. But that's not a relationship, because, you know, a lot of people who are married, they disagree with me that I can't speak about marriage, but with the experience that I went through, you know, with the siblings that I have, with relatives, family, I feel like I understood marriage, and I know what to take in my marriage when I do plan to find my, you know, spouse. Do you understand where I'm going with this?
For example, can I give an example to that? You know how some people have said to us that you can't speak about that because you have no experience. First of all, Shanice,
you'd be shocked.
When you go into a work field,
it's just, you know what it is, people with even who are married, they don't even have the akal of marriage. They just got married because of their desires.
Yeah. So when you go into a work field, like I was saying, and I'm sure you don't have the experience. I could say to you, you don't have the experience, why you're going into that work field, Shanice. And it's like, even when you are doing something, but
you never have the experience.
For example, let me just give you an example. For example, a social worker, they help out a child that's going through abuse and neglect, right? You can't say that. You could say to the social worker, you don't have experience, you can't help me because you haven't been abused and neglect. That person is helping. Like, for example, us, we might have not been through it, but we've seen so much to maybe form an opinion
Yeah.
and to give advice about it. So you know, it's like, you know, something we've learned in life other people can learn. It's called sharing. It's not called, oh, I have so much, you know, knowledge,
No,
and
I'm not gonna lie. Even with what I have learned, I wouldn't be big-headed or egotistic or testicle that I have like a great wide of knowledge. I can even if I'm married or when I get married, inshallah, I mean what's it called, I wouldn't say that with my husband, or I wouldn't want my husband to say that, like, you know, we know full on marriage, but we can give advice, but we wouldn't say, like, I wouldn't want my husband to have that ego in him and say, you know what, we know marriage and this and that. No, I want this guy to be humble like me. So yeah, and I feel like that's important. Like, as a couple, you need to have that link and that connection. Like, for example, if I'm like in my low days, I would want him to have that energy, you know, helping me to get through that day. Do you understand?
Both
and vice versa. Like, that's very important in a relationship, having good energy of how are we thriving together. Because I feel like even the stories that I've heard, it's just a man succeeding, but it's not, and a lady just look aftering the house. I feel like it should work both ways.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
So for example, guys, I feel like I'm just giving examples, but anyways, for example, guys, communication is key. Please jot that down on your journals, on the fridge, everywhere you can. Jot it down right now. Put your food down and jot that down, what Abida said. Communication is key. Just like we need to talk to the door to open the lock, you gotta just communicate.
And I feel like, for example, if you were like looking for a guy and you saw that this guy likes other girls' pictures that are not appropriate, let's just, you know, say like that, you should literally, that should be a no-go. Like, literally, that should that man should not be in your list. Because when I tell you this man is going to continue that in the marriage, I'm telling you he is. And because due to that characteristic he has, no loyalty, he just wants to get married because of, you know, he's getting pressure to get married, but not really like, oh, I want to be committed to it. Don't marry a person like that. Don't marry a person who's stingy with his wealth. Don't marry a person who he has ego in him, and he doesn't show no presence. Because if a guy that shows no presence, he will never show presence in the marriage. Rather, he will show presence to these girls that he finds, you know, satisfactory.
Also, remember another thing. If he's not showing any commitment, why should you put full-on commitment towards him?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
because it needs to, the scale needs to balance here, honey. It can't be one person doing all the work and the other person just a lazy ass. Because if it's like that, then you've got problems. You gotta, you know, you gotta deal with that. You don't just go like, shut my mouth, I'm gonna be quiet, I'm gonna be a good girl, I'm gonna be a good boy, and I'm just gonna let the future unravel. No, it doesn't work like that, honey. You gotta deal with this, because you do not want to traumatize your kids. You do not want to take into the future. It all falls
on the kids. I'm like, with the stories that I've seen, it all falls onto the kids, it haunts the kids, and
unless someone breaks that generational curse.
Like, you know, if you find a person that loves you, that is loyal, that has fikr over you, never let them go. I'm just saying, never let them go, because you're not gonna find that person. And remember, if you constantly keep on doing the mistakes again and again, that person is not gonna come to you anymore. I'm just telling you, they're not gonna. They saw the full picture. They're not gonna come to you.
Like, not my problem. I'm walking away.
You're saving your own self. And it has to be like that. At the end of the day, Allah constantly keeps on testing people. Is because of the mistakes that they do, even in, for example,
a repeated
marriage
lesson will keep on happening until you learn your lesson.
Like, for example, you
keep saying, what am I doing wrong? You are doing something wrong. You've got all the all the things, the evidence. You just gotta put it together like a jigsaw. Jigsaw on a puzzle piece. Like, not puzzle piece,
don't
on
you
a puzzle,
think that relates to divorce as well? Because, like, for example, if you got married once, you saw it didn't work out due to, let's just just making scenarios because he
wasn't fully committed.
He wasn't fully committed, and he was literally he cheated on you basically.
Yeah.
And then you went to a divorce, and then you found someone else. You just like rushed into that marriage, and what's it called? Then
to
you
fill in that void without healing from what just happened.
Yeah.
When you do that, your life is like
and
life is gone.
You find that the second one has some problems, some issues. They basically haven't healed from the past. That's what I'm saying. I also have stated that it's very important to take couple therapy before marriage, and if a guy doesn't take couple therapy before marriage and you request it to him, remember that he's not committed to you. He doesn't want the marriage to work.
He doesn't. Bro never wanted it.
I've heard it from some people that if a man says no to that, he's not committed.
Something cool, not even cool, something predictable about us humans is when we give that body language, when we make that point, that opinion, when we go with that thing, we will always go down with that thing.
And
that should be a sign.
Shanice, like if
Patricia,
you see the
whoever.
one thing I'll say, take your time in getting to know that. If comes to the second one, learn that person's personality, as well as ask your parents and family members to actually see that person and how they behave, how the characteristics are. I know people can fake, but at the end of the day, you can go like to a level like the Prophet said, do business with someone, travel with them. That's how you potentially start knowing them. So that's very important and key. And don't let mistakes repeat. Like for example, you went through divorce, don't go to the third divorce by taking the traits of the past.
And I want to add something to that, because something, how we're desi delinquents. We are delinquents. We don't care what the world has to say. We speak up for rights. We advocate for people that are being silenced. So because we're from the desi community, I just wanted to add to that. So the question was, what makes a perfect marriage? And not that I'm agreeing with this question, I'm just gonna give a pointer to the agreeing side. And I feel like something I can put out is a lot of people out there maybe had parents that had really good relationship marriage, but when they get into a marriage, it's so toxic dysfunction that they're like, oh, just put it under the carpet, gotta live like how my parents lived, and live in that facade. Not that obviously the parents had a good marriage, but they don't want to disappoint their parents. They want to live up to that expectation and actually like be in denial and think, oh yeah, marriage is perfect. And like another thing, guys, arguments, if you have arguments in marriage, if you have it all the time, then it is toxic, like out of little things. But if it's like argument like once and then, which you guys can go in your own way, calm down and come back together and work it out and make out and all that, then that's nothing toxic, it's nothing bad. Having arguments is what builds your marriage, and like it makes it stronger and deep. And that's really important to think that, oh, a perfect marriage, just because on social media you might, as a wife, like look at other women that with the husband, you're like, oh, she's got this, her husband is doing that. Trust me, Shanice, social media is fake. She probably had an argument with him, and then she was like, my husband brought me a mean girl.
Literally, that is literally, you smashed it
like,
with
oh my god, he's doing.
You know what it is? I don't want to
even the bare
marriage.
minimum. This is the over the bare minimum. I was like, Shanice, my daddy has been getting me mean girls every single day, and you think your husband getting it once a week is like the standard?
You know what it is? Like, a lot of sisters see like girls with Birkins and Irmas and all of this and
as
that,
if that's gonna take them
like that just shows that you're a materialistic person. But at the end of the day, for example, I like clothes. Someone can call me materialistic in that sense, and I'll go like, in that sense I am materialistic because I love clothes.
I know.
But the thing is, your husband or your wife just bombing you with things and gifts and stuff, but then you see an error in him and he was like, oh, you can't tell me what to do. I'm the one who's love bombing.
Oh my god, I have another example. That's true. I have another way to as well say, for example, whether it's like husband working and wife is a housewife, or if it's both working, but if it's like to the point where husband does spoil wife, and she thinks that she can take that advantage, and because he needs to pay for everything else, and maybe he's not making much that like month. I just want to say to all the materialistic girls out there, don't think that you can, like, you know, there's some girls like they're
I
like,
know what you're talking about.
my husband didn't buy me the Birkin, that means he doesn't love
Like
me.
me,
I
yeah.
need to divorce him right now. Shanice,
No,
it's
I'm
not.
not. No, I disagree with
you're
that.
just being
you know what it
dramatic
is?
now,
I
Shanice.
don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like the concept in regards to that. I don't like how ladies think that just because he's not earning, and you take,
or even if he's
I'm
earning
not
and he's
saying
got so
even
much other
sisters
things to
take
pay
advantage
towards
of guys
tax
as
and all
well.
that,
I have heard stories like that. Like, it's so bad. Like, just because he's not earning, like, you know, these sugar daddies and these you know, drug dealer men's. Bro, sister, he is working his ass just to, you know, shelter you. Do you understand? There are stories like that, and it hurts. At the end of the day, I'm saying to you, brother, that girl is not good for you. That girl is there just for your money.
She's there for your money.
That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's so important who you choose, you know, as
and
a
it
spouse.
goes both ways.
And it goes both ways.
You know,
but
just like
even
God
I
knows,
have
you know.
heard stories like that, and it is so heartbreaking. And you know, these guys, they actually do find eventually a good girl. At the end of the day, you know, Allah, you know, tests you with certain people, but he blesses you with certain people, and that's the journey and beauty of a marriage as well.
You know what's important for me in a marriage? God knows if I'm ever gonna get married, because looking at this generation being cooked,
the statistics of it is so bad of divorce. It is high sky.
I'd rather eat Pringles, but basically, you know me, I definitely value memory over materials.
Same.
Like I do love
memories.
some stuff, but I'm not saying, oh, just because you love these things you're materialistic. I'm just saying to those people that are like full on money eaters, like gold diggers and whatever you want to call them, sugar daddies and sugar mummies and sugar sisters and
like,
sugar
it's
mommies.
not bad that a girl wants her
Like,
things.
I feel like memory
But there's a limit to it.
is so valuable. I feel like that journey of everything you've been through, thick and thin, is so important. It's like it makes you guys who you are as a couple. It gives you guys like that like connection, that deep bond that no one else would understand, only you two will get. It's like that close, tight-knit thing that no one can like pull the strings. It's like so many things,
but you know what it is, you know what's heartbreaking when
it's
you're in
like
a marriage,
something super beautiful.
like, you know what you're saying, like what's it called, a husband and wife creating a marriage. Or for example, if you trying to, you know, you find someone and, you know, you guys literally click like that, and your like morals and principle align, as well as your dream, and like you guys like help each other to thrive. But then you know what wrecks it up? You find out something that really breaks your heart, and you're like, oh my god, that was actually a facade, that was unreal.
You know, I'm just saying, if that ever, this will never happen to me because I have high standards. I'm a picky girl. I know what I want in life.
No, I'm just saying certain things like that
I'm just giving an example. If that was to happen in life,
I know it's a lot of sisters who, you know, who went through that.
Just know, bro, I know
fake.
karate, I know kung fu, and I will like a panda kickbox you. I will throw you back to where you were born.
Literally, like, really like sadden you. But you know what you said about it, like the string theory.
Would you kung fu them?
Well,
show them.
You don't want to know. Can
you show them that funny move?
But then I wouldn't like touch him if he's not married. Like, I wouldn't even like
but I'm
look
saying
at
when
him.
you're married.
Married, bro. You don't know what I will do to him.
I would you know, there's a lot of things you can really do. A lot of things you can get rid of. A lot of things. Things you can do, you know. Think about it. I could make you Qurbani for Eid. You know, the big Eid, you could become the Qurbani.
Like, you know, a lot of men think that just because they see a face like this, or, you know, they see a girl who's covered and, you know, she respects herself, that they can take advantage of her, and they're like, oh my gosh, she is dumb as F. Like, I can't like make her.
Yeah, you know, those girls are so pretty, and they're like,
it?
oh, she has no brain, she's just girl the beauty.
She's so maha.
And you know another thing which you know says it, which seals the deal.
But then
you know, even beautiful women are cheated on. Look at Princess Diana, my favorite role model. I love her, and she got cheated on by a lizard.
Yeah, and like, so you need to understand, like, fair enough, like, you're gonna go through a heartbreak of, you know, there's one sister that she basically told me, like, I can't believe even she told me this. Basically she went through like the decade process, there basically the talking stage, and then what happened was the day before the marriage he literally said that I can't marry you. Wallah, that broke my heart. When she said it to me, I was like, oh my god.
Wait, you spoke to the girl? Oh my god, that's so sad.
Yeah, I know. And that broke my heart.
Nah,
I was
if I was a sister, I would have been at the front of his doorstep.
You know what? You deserve better. You deserve 100 times better. And you know what? He just proclaimed to you. He said to you that there's something that, you know, I have and I can't really commit to you. And Allah, you don't understand what Allah saved you from.
How long did you have this thing for?
I know,
you know,
why do you,
even though
he thinks that he can break her to pieces before the marriage, but he didn't.
Even though, think about it though, she doesn't realize, obviously, you know how we get heartbreaks and so many bad things happen to it, and it's, you know, perspective is everything, because you gotta always, you might go like, oh Shanice, you're just the sunshine, no Shanice, I'm not sunshine, I'm the moon. I'm joking, I'm the moon. But anyways, you gotta always, like, there's always good ways to look at it. For example, you know what happened to her, that's really sad, but I bet deep down, as time has gone by, she can say to herself, she's like, I'm just so glad Allah saved me from hell. And living in hell, that's like truly a blessing. I heard that she got married
and she's living it.
Is she? There you go. That was a blessing in disguise.
I know. You don't know.
And she deserves it.
You deserve it. That's what I'm saying. You know, when we speak about is there such thing as a perfect marriage, 100%, my opinion, no, there's not. But you can make a marriage thrive. You can, for example, if you have like a problem with each other, for example, he has some addiction problem, he has porn problem, for example, porn, and he should be seeking help, you know, with that, in regards to that, before marriage. Do you understand that? But if you can see him not making any substantial effort, cut the, you know, talks off. Just cut it off. You'll find someone better. Because you know something about men, like, you know, men are not stupid, you know. I saw a video that men are not stupid. I agree with you. Men are not stupid. They always have an agenda. They have an agenda to break a girl, to manipulate her. And if a girl, I'm saying to those sisters who, you know, guys are liking your pictures, like pictures that, you know, they shouldn't be liking, with the morals and principle that they say, respect yourself and stay away from people like that.
I bet the people from the past, like so, like, in the olden time, I bet if they was to ever, obviously they're dead, but if they ever was to watch this video from the future, they'll go like, oh my god,
how
honey,
did
men become
this
trashy, like
no, but then
like,
again,
how did men become,
you know what it
so
is?
bad?
It all came from our past generation. They, for example, the grandparents, the grandmothers, they took shit.
Like,
they took crap.
Victoria, this is really saddening.
They didn't amend the actual whole situation. They said, oh, my husband's cheating, oh, he's marrying like 500 billion.
Have you heard of the saying?
What's it called, wife? Let me just be the wife, because, you know, I don't have no security. But as a woman, security comes from Allah, risk comes from Allah. Don't be in a toxic marriage just to fill your reputation. Your kids are gonna suffer because of you.
Have you heard of this saying? Men right now, we're cooked as women. Forget about going to war. We're worried for everything. Men are really in the princess era.
They are in the princess era.
We are in that night era right now. Like, I'm trying to be a good man to all these girls.
Like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, marriage is a very, very serious concept. And if you are a person,
it's funny that we have to address something so like this, and it just makes you think like, you know, obviously I'm not saying, I'm not being biased, I'm not saying just because I'm a girl men are all at fault. Both girls, both men are at fault. I'm just saying it's so funny that we have to go to this extent to really ask our viewers what makes a perfect marriage, because what really does, Shanice?
Everybody would disagree with that.
There's no such thing as perfect life, okay?
That question, everybody would disagree with it.
That's why everyone acts fake online, okay? Yeah. That's why you see their perception, their definition of perfection is them being fake filler, them being fake as F. And you never see no one's real identity. You never see no one being themselves. And when you meet people that are, you know, really authentic, you're like, oh my God. Rare energy. Oh, ha. Love your vibe. We need you. Come looking yell. Yeah.
Like, you know what? Those who have been in a toxic family, they understand that, you know, we want to make it right. We want to there are some people that still want to like look through marriage. They want to give like a good connotation to marriage, that, you know, just because I didn't have the right parents, I didn't see a really functional family, you know what, I want to give it still a go. Because at the end of the day, you can try and you can make it better.
Risk is better.
Like, for example, it's like a business, you have failures, you literally people go through multiple of business just to get that one business to thrive. That's with marriage. If you know why you're going in the marriage, you can make it work. But you know what it is, you need to find the right person. Basically. And remember, don't fall for the wrong person, because they'll make you the wrong person. And I've seen that in multiple marriages. And you know what it is, they run back for advice because from people who, you know, learnt about marriage, because they don't know what to do. They didn't learn about marriage before going in. It's so essential for a husband and wife to learn about marriage. If you potentially want to get married, take a course in what is marriage, how you can fulfill each other's responsibility, as well as stay away from.
I just wanted to speak about this point. This is really important. This is really taboo out of everything we've mentioned. Everything else is taboo.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is like the concept. This is the real definition of taboo.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, social media really, not only is it fake, but it really brainwashes people to think really bad about stuff. Like, for example, I'll just speak about the fact that as Muslims, how we go through a lot of like Islamophobia and Islamophobic like comments and stuff. And I wanted to add to that the fact that, like, you know how before I was saying once that they copy their parents, like, because their parents had a good marriage, they just keep whatever's happening to them under the carpet. Another thing of, you know, when I said what makes a perfect marriage, for example, if you're a Muslim, I'm not saying every Muslim does that, we know that our religion is perfect, do you know what I mean? So we're like, we need to make whatever we do perfect. And I feel like that's where, rather than really following religion, you bring in your own opinion, culture and everything to it. You mix it, and you make people that see this on social media, you make them think that, oh, Islam is so bad, when it's actually not Islam, it's culture. Because first of all, you gotta know the definition between a religion and culture and how they both vary, because you can't expect to see both mixed, and then you can't combine them together and then blame religion for all of this. Both of them are combined.
And you know, there's some stories,
and so because of that, literally, it's so sad to say, but like, for example, we're Bengali, so in Bangladesh, in Nepal, in so many other countries, in Pakistan, Afghanistan, everywhere around the world, you were saying Turkey as well. Unfortunately, there's some girls that don't even have a right to say no, and they're like underage girls, and they're married to like elder man, like men that look like they could be the uncle or flipping like the grandfather. And it's just so sickening. Like, I saw this one reel on Instagram, by the way, she was Bengali, and you know how we are Siliti, she's Dhaka, Dhakai, and her dad was like carrying her in his like kuro, like in his like he was carrying her, and she's like, Abba, please, like, no, and she's crying so badly, and he just didn't give a shit. He just put her on that like horse, and the groom, he's just like looking there like he's okay with it, but at the same time he looks traumatized. And all the other men, some of them even look sorry for her. And I was shocked myself. I was like, you guys feel sorry for her, but you can't even speak up. And there were some women that were just going with it, maybe because they all had to go through it, and they were like, this is normalized. But the way she cried, I was like, how can I? He wasn't even looking at her in the face. He was just like putting her onto the horse, and she was crying. She was like, please, Dad, don't do this to me. I'm just she's a young girl. She's younger than me. And I was like, are they like taking the like? Can you imagine the morning or when they were getting her dressed, how traumatic it must have been? She must have wanted to end her life. And unfortunately, you know how some of you guys might say, oh, you're so biased, you're just talking for girls. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we are talking for girls because we are girls. You can talk for yourself if you're a man. You could do your part of the talking. But I feel like the reason I'm talking about girls is because we, unfortunately, in the Desi community, we get silenced. We don't even have a right, you know, as being as Bangladeshi, you have to worship your flipping. That's how they treat you. You have to worship the man. You have to listen to him. It needs to be all about him. It can never be about you. And that's type of marriage, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit what anyone says. I'd rather not be married. I'd rather be single.
That's why a lot of people don't want to get married, because
and I'm one of those.
How you get controlled by man. But at the end of the day, you can prevent that. Who do you choose? What do you want? What characteristic do you want in a spouse? Choose a man that is not controlling in the get-go. With what I have seen, and you know, as girls, we're very like, we are literally CIAs. We are like some sergeant agents that you don't even flipping know of. Agent. Like some Asian shit we are. I'm not gonna say which Asian I'm from, but I'm from a classical Asian. Wallah, the shit that I can get out of you, even by you not knowing, I can drill the drill even more further than you can flip and see with your eyes.
You know, everyone comments on my being robotic. Yeah. Guys, I'm so robotic that just by looking at you, I can figure out who the crush is, who the ex is, and who your dad is.
Like, not a lot of men think that us girls were stupid.
They think we're so dumb, and
only like, you know what we know by just looking at you. Yeah. Like you need the whole crowd and your happy gushti to figure people like me. But me singularly, I can figure you out and your family.
No plural, just singularity while being a single girl in this generation.
It's so important when you go into a marriage. Like, you know what you said, that, you know, I don't want that trait, like marriage, like, you know, in the Asian community, it's like flipping you worshipping and bowing them. That can be prevented.
Literally, like, bro,
what do
one slap from the wife, like one slap from me, and it's
who
over.
You are as a person is what you attract. Do you understand? If you as a girl that you like a man that basically is like worships you or obsessed with you, you like that, so you're gonna attract that. Do you understand? Yeah. You, for example, like a guy who is, you know, you feel like he's know
an
him.
Addict.
You feel like you know him. You feel like, oh, he's a nice guy. His personality is charming, but then like, it's like, oh my god, it's always a facade. You know, a lot of sisters, they say that when they get into the marriage, they see the flipping whole picture, because you didn't research about him, you didn't figure him out in the get-go. So it's very essential. Like, a woman should know, you know, her, you know, for example, how a woman wants to thrive with a business. That's how you thrive with, for example, finding the right one.
You know how us girls, I feel like most girls are so loyal. Yeah. There are some girls out there that are not, like, you know, loyal, players. No offense, they're players. They're a bunny player.
Stay away from people like that. Both genders, no bias going on.
You know how there's some girls out there that could be players, and then there's most that are loyal. I have to say most because I have seen the most. I have, with my robotic skills, I have analyzed the situation. I'm just joking. But like, you know how us girls being loyal and innocent, we have like maybe fantasy, and when I say fantasy, maybe just like dreaming of a marriage, not perfect, but just a marriage that has, you know, good qualities, like real love and everything. Like, it's really sad to know that
What?
that it doesn't like
Exist. Yeah.
If you think about it deeply, it does
But that's
not
where,
exist.
for example, working on a marriage
I
is
need to
very
meet a good
important.
person, right?
Kids who went through a really rough time, you know, in their childhood, they never saw a really happy family. They are the ones who break that, and they try and find, you know, a person that they can relate to, who can, you know, they can connect to, and make a family that is like, you know, not a perfect family, but a family that is livable. Because at the end of the day, what do you want in a family? What do you want? You want peace, muwadda, you want rahmah, you want love, you want peace, you want mercy, and you want to listen to each other. Like nowadays, because of social media, we can't even communicate with the people that we love.
Can't. If you can't communicate with the door to open the lock, because you know,
that's what I'm saying.
You
Social
know,
media, it
communication
literally has
is the key.
it has broken relationships. Do you
Basically.
agree with that?
Yeah.
I feel like as a married couple, like for example, if I get into a marriage, and like, you know, there's certain things that my husband doesn't want me to post, I wouldn't post it. Like for example, my, you know, some of my bits showing, I wouldn't do it because I love him and I would respect his opinion. I would just do it based on business, my social media. I'm not doing it because, like for example, just because of him. I'm doing it because of I want a marriage to thrive. And for example, I will say the same with him. I wouldn't want him to show his, for example, his aura, him basically, you know, just showing his bits as well. Like I wouldn't want any girl looking at you the way that I look at you.
But you know something funny about men like that is they think they have the audacity to show theirs, and then they are controlling when the girl does it, even though she's not really like, she's not connected to him, she's not even like married to him. Like that is not his, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not his wife even. Like shut it Sean.
But you know,
Shut it.
there are men
Give me
that
a man name. Shut it Daniel. Shut it Ahmed.
There are men.
Chanel.
There are men that control the wives like that, or like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? At the end of the day, you look what you're doing first and foremost.
Basically.
And you know, just because
it works both ways.
Just because, for example, if I can see that, oh, this picture of mine is actually suitable, I'm fully covered.
Can I just clear up
as a husband, you should respect that.
You know, when I said it works both ways, you know, some people quickly come to misunderstanding me because I've always been a misunderstanding in my life. But anyways, what I meant by it works both ways, for example, if you want your opinion to be heard out, you need to play it yourself. You need to implement the action. And I'm not saying that just because you've done it, she's gonna do it. No, that's immature behavior. I'm just saying, whatever you want, you gotta also do yourself, because that's how you track things, don't you?
Like for example,
Don't you, Shanice?
with the people that, you know, I spoke to about marriage, they said that listening is very important. You know, loving each other's family members, like, you know, showing that you actually care for his parents or her parents. As well as, like, for example, kind gestures, you know, love language, you know, you both fulfilling them. Like, that's how a marriage thrives, you know, listening to each other. And trust me, when you get into marriage, don't base your life on social media. There are, for example, I don't know if you know this brother Ish, he got divorced. I personally think, like, may Allah make it easy for him, may Allah help him.
Ish?
He's a brother, he's on TikTok. He basically said about his divorce, I personally, if I got divorced or if I got married, I wouldn't let the whole world know. I know he's a influencer, you know, I'm on internet. It's up to me what I let on to the public and what I don't let on. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
So yeah, like
just
make it easy for him, but there's certain things just don't say.
Just because you see someone social media, and Shanice, you're only seeing 1 minute, and even if it feels like 10 minutes, trust me, that's 5 minutes
the girls
of their time
in
the day. You don't know how a person really is like in real life, so you can't just see their life on social media and be like, that was it.
Like,
that was
people,
the A game.
like,
that was it.
These people have reported or said their marriage online, and it all ended up in a divorce. I feel like if you love someone, you be very sacred with the person that you get married to, because
share
you just don't want
could be beneficial. Not
like how can you,
because
how
unfortunately, like, it's
couple.
cute that, you know, as a couple you want to show, like, that's cute. I understand that intention, but unfortunately we live in a society where evil eye exists. Any of us can do evil eye without even knowing.
That marriage.
So even there's people that have like really bad intentions, so it's just better to be protected. Like, I'm sure your marriage matters more than social media proving to them that you're having the best life of your time. If you know you are, then you are, honey. You don't need to prove it to society, because at the end of the day, like, 90% are not gonna come to your wedding. Like, you're not gonna be seeing Matthew from Brazil come into your wedding and go like, that was it, Shanice, you did it. You know what I mean? You don't need the validation to be a beautiful
you know, social media just should be like, make it a personal brand and like thriving, you know, as a business. It's just business wise. I feel like you shouldn't like show your whole world. Like, for example, you know, the 5 passengers is, or the 8 passengers.
5 passengers. They were a big family. 8
passengers.
That was
basically
such a sad
like
story.
They showed such a facade. I don't know if you know about that family.
I used
8
to watch
passengers. They showed like a concept of a happy family, but they were really struggling. The methodology,
it was the parent, it was
the
the
code that they
fault,
were behind. It was both of parents. I wouldn't just blame the mother.
What I'm trying to say, obviously, it's both. I can't just
at the
blame
end of the
mother,
day,
but I feel like the
as a
mom
couple,
joining
you're a
that
unit together.
cult, because the daughter, she got a book out, by the way, which I've read. She herself said both was to blame, but mostly her mother, because she's the one who introduced the cult to the family.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, as a
that's
couple,
the blame she can
you
take.
are a unit together. So if one goes one extreme, you need to get that extreme wifey or the husband to that level, like level her down, you know, sit her down or sit him down.
Humble each other
Humble each other. That's what I'm saying. Finding the right person, it is so crucial and important, because things like that can happen. Let's summarize marriage, like the perfect family.
Topic, guys. You know, right now what we just did, we just gave you society's opinion. We gave you strengths and limitation, what we've heard, backstories, everything, to answer why we might agree with the question and why we might disagree. Now we're gonna actually be raw and give our own message, what we really think.
You nearly smashed my mirror.
Whoa. Jeez. My real opinion about marriage is that,
what would you do, basically? Just explain it thoroughly.
Like some people have said, I haven't experienced this, so what am I talking? What am I doing? The yapping. Anyways, what I would say is that I just, like, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like it's so important to, it's so important that, like, hopefully this, like, whatever we were speaking about was beneficial to you guys, because unfortunately when you say something to someone, it goes in one ear and it comes out the other. And I'm not saying I'm the perfect girl talking about the perfect marriage. I'm just saying that, like, it's so important to know all the signs, to take in the signs, to know what things you could do wrong that can lead to a complicated future, which can have such a negative mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, intellectual, all the ill, all those types of factors. It can have such a toll on them, and it can really, like, mess up big time. It can really make a cycle go so far that who's gonna break it? Who's gonna break the norm of this all taboo-ness? Because there's nothing such as a perfect marriage. Perfect is not the best word to use for marriage. Real love, real authenticity is all that matters. For me personally, if I was to get married, trust me, I'll be on my A game, everything, because I'm a high standard girl. I'll take in everything, even if something goes against me or something that I've desired the most, I would have to cut it off in an instant, because I respect myself so much. I have self-respect for myself. I'm not that type of girl that lets people emotionally manipulate me just because they see like brightness in me and they think, oh, they can take my spark away. It doesn't work like that, Shanice. It doesn't. I'm just using the word Shanice, the name Shanice, because I'm really comfortable with that. I don't know any like man names. That just really shows how it's just better to stay out of like, it's just, you know. But also another thing, because we're Muslims, I think it's so important to really take in the word halal into,
that's so
because
true.
if you have a haram relationship, I'm sorry, but your life is never gonna be fun, honey.
You're gonna have high expectation in the marriage.
And you're gonna be disappointed, because at the end of the day it was all your fault.
So for me, like my sister said, I disagree with a perfect marriage. I feel like that word shouldn't be really connected to marriage, because at the end of the day, the bestest of marriage went through the rocky roads, but they still thrived with the marriage. You know what it is? It's very like listening skills and helping each other out in how to thrive. They went through counseling. When I spoke about therapy counseling before marriage, you know, if you need it during marriage, take it on board. Don't let anyone, you know, restrict you from that. At the end of the day, you as a couple know what you're struggling with, and if you want the marriage to continue and to thrive, do what's right for both of you. As well as, like, for example, how my sister ended it with, if you're a person who has that high expectation, or you're living in a delulu mind of how your parents want your wife to be and how you expect your wife to be, the opposite thing, you're gonna struggle, mate or sister. You are really gonna struggle. And that marriage that you get into, I'm gonna tell you, don't get into a marriage that you don't want, because your kids are gonna pay the consequence of what you put them through. There have been families, dysfunctional families, that their kids, they didn't do anything, they just took on board the mess of the parents. And if you're a person who is experiencing something like that, for example, with parents forcing you to get married, don't take that on board. You as an adult, take that responsibility. You as a man and a lady, know what you want, you know, in your future spouse. And if, for example, you did get hurt, you know, some people broke your heart, some people manipulated you, coerced you into certain things, remember, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Or for example, if you're a divorcee, Allah will give you someone that is for you, that is meant for you. And sometimes we need to go through rocky roads, or you know, hell, just to figure out certain people, just to figure out, you know, what is best for us. And remember, Allah doesn't test, you know, just the layman. He tests his strongest soldiers. And you are going to be a lesson for your kids. You're going to write to them, you're going to make a book for them, you're going to speak to them. My dear, you know, child, that don't get into a mess like that. It's not worth it. If a man really loves you, he'll come to you and, you know, say that he loves you, or he wants to get married to you. He won't just paint a picture of, you know, copying you or love bombing you.
Can I just say this?
Wait a second.
He won't be a pussy.
Love bomb you, even tell you in before the marriage that he wants to end it. That's not a man for you. A man is not that he looks at, his eye is wandering around, he is love bombing you, but then he likes a girl with a bikini, or he likes a girl who, you know, does stripping jobs basically.
Now he just wants you to be obsessed with him, but it doesn't work like that.
That's not your man, okay? I'm telling you, that's not a man. Or a man's like, for example, you know, there's stingy mans, there's egotistic mans, even ladies. I'm not just looking at man, I'm saying it because of with what I have seen, with what I have viewed. If a man, you can see he's controlling, don't get into a marriage like that, because at the end of the day, if he's controlling now in what you wear and stuff, he's going to be controlling you, you know, in that marriage. as well as, you know, there's one thing that we didn't touch upon. What's it called? There's a balance in, for example, knowing like your whereabouts, and there's a level of like protection with both of you. Like, don't go on board when it comes to, like, for example, a marriage. Like, you know, there's certain people that struggle with like detachment, or like when the couple, like, when you think that, oh, that love is like deteriorating, try and thrive that marriage or thrive that relationship, because things like that in a marriage happens. Like, I took that on board. Like, if I do find the right spouse, for example, if, you know, something's not working out, or, you know, when I feel like he doesn't like me, or he thinks that I don't like him, you know, you need to find ways in how to, like, what should we do? Should we go on a holiday? How should we regain that bond back? Do you understand? And that's very essential. I'm not married, but I know, you know, things like that. So yeah, like, study marriage before getting married. You know what you want in a person. And if last thing I wanna end it with this. If, for example, you fell for the wrong person, but you still have feelings for them, ask Allah to remove that feeling, because if you really love someone, you wouldn't put them through pain. Do you understand?
So
if you
true.
know that you really, like, were in a sticky situation with them, and you know that you want to protect them, a real person who loves you, they would protect you. And if he or she, like, wants a relationship, but you know that you guys are not compatible for each other, you know things will go AWOL, real person would move away from you because he or she wants to see you happy. So yeah, I want to end it with
I love that. I think I'll be that type of person.
Yeah, I've seen that. So,
like, I have
so many
self-respect,
stories.
but
Yeah.
also I feel like I'm that type of person. If I really love someone
Yeah,
and I don't
I'll
want to
move
hurt them,
away.
I'll move away.
I know, sometimes you have to
No,
do
that
that.
gives me vibes of, you know, in K-drama, you know, the second lead, they always be that kind of vibe, and I'm like, bro, I like that.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's the bestest
Yeah.
of love. If you really love someone, you just move away, because at the end of the day, you don't both of you to hurt each other, and you know that he's struggling with something, and you know that he's not compatible for you, so you'll find someone who is compatible, trust me.
Or I'll just give up. I got like, that was the one that I was so much in love with.
Like,
that was the one that I'm joking.
okay, there is one person that I respect this person so much, like, with what I have seen. I would want to mention his name, Imam Gadzi. Like, I respect him so much. He's basically, his mom came out from a toxic, like, father. Like, she removed him from, you know, the father that he had, as in his birth father, as well as she got remarried, I think. Yeah, so she worked her ass off. She put blood and sweat in Imam Gadzi, and look at him
She
now.
basically learnt her lesson.
That's why I have respect for him,
first
because
time, and she really, that's a good thing. She broke something, like, she broke the generation curse. She could have stayed.
You know, there's
but
some
she
certain brothers that
did
you
it,
have
know,
respect
for who she
for.
did it for.
He's one of them.
She did it for her child,
Yeah.
because she knew that her child has a future, like a bright future ahead.
Yeah.
And she was like, if this man's gonna be toxic, I'd rather leave him. Like, that just really shows she really cared about her child. She didn't make her husband her god.
Yeah, like, you know,
I like women like that.
yeah, same.
Girl,
I
girl.
respect his mom as well. Like, I'd love to, like, meet her. Like, a woman who can do that, like, you are so strong. Like, bro, you have the bestest of mom. She is an angel. She literally saved you from so much, because there are
and
kids,
appreciate that, never take that
there
for
are
granted.
kids that are living in a torment situation because of, you know, their parents are living in a toxic relationship still. So my brother Imam,
they care about
may
what
Allah
everyone
bless you
else
with
is
a
gonna
righteous
think and
spouse.
say,
I mean,
as if society is married with all of, like, married with them.
yeah, I respect ladies like that.
Yeah.
Single mothers, wallah, some of you
They're
are
the best
just like,
type of love.
whew. MashaAllah,
Anyways,
Ramadan.
guys, I'm gonna be doing the outro. I hope you liked it. Hope it sprinkled some curiosity in your mind. I just wanted to say to all the girls out there, to all the boys, or shall I say to all the women and all to the men. To be honest, I can't say girl and boy, because if you're still young and you watch this, trust me, this is going to be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Please take in what we have said. And I'm not perfect. Just because I'm saying all this
as well
doesn't mean that I've lived, experienced it. I'm perfect. I'm just giving advice on what I think is the right thing to do. If you ever feel like you have no one, come and watch our video. But we're underrated. I feel like you're gonna make us.
But at the end of the day, Allah can make us, you know,
Yeah.
the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. And at the end of the day, it's our
We're
journey.
basically your therapist, guys.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap it up, like my sister said.
Yeah.
Hope you guys liked it. Hope you can take, you know, beneficial knowledge. And if we said anything wrong, may Allah forgive us, as well as may Allah give us the bestest of spouse. And yeah, just have self-respect for yourself.
Selfie
Thrive.
time.
Allah gives the bestest to those who are patient.
Yeah. Bye-bye, guys. I
Bye-bye.
love you.